back to our Odisha travel series. In the last video, we explored the fascinating Odisha State Maritime Museum in Cuttack. In this concluding part of our journey, we'll take you through a few more interesting spots in Bhubaneswar. After visiting the museum, we crossed over to the bank of the Mahanadi River, right across from the museum. The view was serene and offered a different perspective of Cuttack's riverside charm, a perfect spot to relax and soak in the natural beauty before heading back. The Mahanadi River is a major river in east-central India. The river flows through the states of Chhattisgarh and Odisha before finally ending in the Bay of Bengal. We made a quick stop at the roadside viewpoint near the deer park. Though we didn't go inside, we managed to catch a glimpse of a few deer from the fence. Before leaving Cuttack, we also made a quick visit to the iconic Barabati Stadium, one of the most well-known cricket venues in eastern India. Though some preparations were underway for an upcoming tournament, we were lucky enough to get a view of the stadium from the gallery. It is the 17th largest cricket stadium in the world and 12th largest cricket stadium in India in terms of seating capacity. The Barabati Stadium is used mostly for cricket and football. The cricket and football venue is equipped with floodlights for day and night games and is a regular venue for ODI matches. Our next stop in Cuttack was the Netaji Birthplace Museum, the ancestral home of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, a key figure in India's freedom struggle. Located in Odia Bazar in the city of Cuttack, Netaji Birthplace is an ancestral house of Subhash Chandra Bose, India's one of the greatest freedom fighters. Unfortunately, the museum was closed and we couldn't find any clear reason for the holiday. Even though we couldn't go inside, we didn't miss the chance to take a few pictures outside the museum and capture some beautiful roadside wall paintings that depict important moments from Netaji's life and India's history. It was still a meaningful stop, especially for those who admire his legacy. After having lunch, we proceeded to explore one of the city's most iconic historical sites, the Khandagiri and Udayagiri caves, 3 kilometers south of the city of Bhubaneswar. Udayagiri has 18 caves while Khandagiri has 15 caves. It is believed that most of these caves were carved out as residential blocks for Jain monks during the reign of King Kharvela. Chhota Hathi Gumfa is small in size. It has 6 small elephant figures in the facade and a statue of a guardian. Baja Ghara Gumfa is very simple and small. It has a stone bed and pillow and it was used as the Jain monks' shelter in ancient times. Apart from the plain rectangular shaped pillars, there is no other sculpture in this cave. Please excuse the video quality in some parts. Due to the presence of monkeys in the area, I avoided using my main camera while walking around and instead recorded using my mobile phone for safety reasons. Thank you for your understanding. Ganesha Gumpha is one of the most important caves in Udayagiri. The cave has two large statues of elephants carrying garlands at the entrance. Also, the carved figures of Dwara Palas are found at the entrances. Dhanaghara Gumpha is a small cave that has two white pillars and Dwara Pala sculptures carved at the entrance. Hathi Gumpha is a large natural cavern with an inscription by Kharavela, which is the main source of information about him. The word Hathi means elephant. Sarpa Gumpha is an unusually small cave containing two inscriptions. The word Sarpa means snake. Due to time constraints, we were able to visit only the Udayagiri caves. As we climbed up the steps and explored the rock-cut architecture, inscriptions, and serene surroundings, we could truly feel the spiritual and historical essence of the place. The view from the top was also breathtaking, offering a panoramic look at the city. By the time we reached Bhubaneswar city, it was already dark. Our final destination for the day was the magnificent Lingaraj temple. Lingaraj temple is a Hindu temple dedicated to Shiva and is one of the oldest temples in Bhubaneswar. The temple is the most prominent landmark of Bhubaneswar city and one of the major tourist attractions of the state. Shiva's consort and the temple's presiding goddess, Parvati, is referred to as Annapurna or Girija. Though it was night time, the temple's divine ambience and illuminated architecture left a lasting impression on us. The next morning, we woke up early for one last stop before leaving Odisha, a visit to the beautiful Rajrani temple in Bhubaneswar. The weather was cold and foggy, adding a mystical charm to the peaceful temple surroundings. Rajrani temple is maintained by the Archaeological Survey of India, ASI, as a ticketed monument. Rajrani temple is an 11th century CE Hindu temple located in Bhubaneswar. Believed to be devoted to Lord Shiva, the shrine is called Raja Rani because it is made of yellow and red sandstone and the two colors are locally called Raja Rani. An image of a lion can be seen on the top part of the entrance of the Jaga Mohana, who is believed to be guarding the door. Then there are images of Naga and Nagin at the entrance as well, which is believed to be depicting the king and queen of the land of that time. There are no images inside the sanctum, and hence it is not associated with a specific sect of Hinduism but broadly classified as Shaivite based on the niches. The temple is believed to have been known originally as Indreshwara. It is locally known as a love temple because of the erotic carvings of women and men and couples in the temple. Rajrani temple is built in the Panjaratha style on a raised platform with two structures, a central shrine called the Vimana sanctum with a bada, curvilinear spire over its roof rising to a height of 18 meters, 59 feet, and a viewing hall called Jaga Mohana with a pyramidal roof. The Department of Tourism of the Government of Odisha organizes a Rajrani Music Festival at the temple every year from 18 to 20th January. The temple focuses on classical music, and all three styles of classical music, Hindustani, Carnatic and Odissi, are given equal importance. Musicians from different parts of the country perform during the three-day festival. The festival was started in 2003 CE with the help of the Bhubaneswar Music Circle, BMC. There is an entry fee of 5 rupees for Indians and 250 rupees for foreign visitors to visit this shrine. Entry into the temple premises for the public starts at 6:30 am and closes at 7:30 pm. With its stunning architecture and tranquil atmosphere, the Rajrani temple offered the perfect farewell moment to our journey. This was our last day in Odisha, and we couldn't have asked for a better way to end the trip. Later that day, we headed to the airport to catch our afternoon flight, carrying with us unforgettable memories from the heart of Eastern India. Goodbye for now. See you all soon in the next adventure. Thanks for watching and take care.